So, hello students, today I am going to talk about a new issue, that is the problem of aging and the problem of elderly in a very comprehensive way, so that if any question comes in your mains examination, you can easily handle that question. But if you have noticed, then I have used two words, that is elderly and aging, and there is a purpose behind this. The purpose is elderly is always looked in a negative connotation because elderly is always equated with the poor health, with the poor economic security. However, the term aging is always considered in a positive connotation. And therefore, an international convent on social, economic, and political rights and UN Human Rights Commission have also used the word older rather than elderly. But if you can see in the slide, then there are two couples. One, you may see that he is a very rich couple, and this couple looks a poor couple. But if you will see the problem of elderly, then largely the problem of both these couples will be same. That is the problem of isolation, the problem of feeling lonely, that is the loneliness, because इनके बच्चे अमेरिका चले गए तो ये लोनली हो गए बेचारे, और इनके बच्चे बिहार यूपी से दिल्ली आ गए तो ये भी लोनली हो गए. But if you will see in the terms of economy or in the terms of income security, then you can say that they are well off and they are facing the problem of income security along with the loss of emotions, along with the loneliness. So in this context, we will see the entire problem and the challenges of aging in a very comprehensive manner. But before that, I just want to give you data so that you can use this in examination. So the data say that, or you can say, or you can quote also India Aging Report. India Aging Report. The report says that today 8.3% of the total population is of elderly. It is going to 20.3% by 2050. And 51% of elderly will be women, and 73% of elderly lives in rural areas. And there are 2 lakhs of older people who are of more than 100 years of age in India. This is the data which you can use, any data you can use in your examination. So now, first of all, we will see that how and what is the importance of elderly. The very first importance is their contribution in economy. Now you will say, sir, how they can contribute? They can contribute largely in the terms that they can be the part of formal or informal sector of our economy. Example, a person who is retired from the job of clerk in any government department can work as an accountant, can work as an office administrator in the private entities. For example, the judge or the lawyer who has, lawyer तो कभी retire होते नहीं है, but the judge who has retired, he can practice or he can contribute in any other tribunals and all. Along with this, they are transferring their assets to the generation, and the generation can turn into entrepreneur, or they can be angel investors and all. Thirdly, they also provide an avenues for the new startup who can bring the products and services which is required for the elderly. Then the second is unpaid care work. We all know, और मैं तो यही कहता हूं कि नैनी से बढ़िया है कि अपनी नानी और दादी को बुला लो whenever you are having the newborn child. So basically, the grandparents is providing unpaid care work. Okay, and this unpaid care work in UK is estimated that it is saving approximately 70 billion US dollar for the new parents, you can say. Social capital. They can work in the voluntary organization, they can work in civil society, and then in that context, they can be the source of social capital. Conservation of environment, conservation of architecture, conservation of art, because they are the repositories of wisdom and the knowledge of old heritage, of our folk songs, of our folk dances. So basically, they can contribute in the conservation of all this. Now, understanding of their importance, government has taken many steps. So the government steps can be clubbed under three heads. The very first is that the government is signatories to the global convention. So the very first thing in 1991, there is a UN principle on aging, and the government has supported this. Then in 2002, there is a Madrid Action Plan. And Madrid Action Plan talks about three things, that is the development, that is the health of older person, and that is to ensure environment which is conducive for them. Then in 2015 SDG 3, that goal talks about the health of elderly. And now in 2020, the UN Decade on Aging has been announced from 2020 to 2030. Then the second is National Policy on Older Person. Older person. That is today ABY, that has been structured as Atal Ayodhya Yojana. And or you can say under this policy, there is a Rashtriya Vayashri Yojana, there is an state action plan, there is an skill program for them, there is a skill program for the elderly. The third is legislative step, that is the maintenance of older parents, maintenance and welfare of Parents and Senior Citizen Act 2007. And this act says that if the parents have transferred their property to you and you are not taking care of them, then the parents can go to the tribunal and the tribunal will ask you to return the property to your parents if you cannot take care of them. But मुझे तो ऐसा लगता है कि ये ज्यादा मॉरल बातें हैं rather than law. ये तो हमें समझना पड़ेगा कि जिन्होंने हमें उंगली पकड़ के चलना सिखाया है, तो हमें भी उन्हें उंगली पकड़ के उनका नैया पार कराना पड़ेगा. दिस इज वेरी मॉरल ग्राउंड, आई विल से. पर ठीक है, लोग नहीं समझ रहे हैं तो लॉ बनाओ और जेल में डालो. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी विद दैट. नाउ we will see the challenges. Even after the government has taken many steps, the problem that they are facing is health. Now, 1 in 5 elderly or older person, I am deliberately using the word elderly and older again and again. So 1 in 5 person have a mental issue like dementia, depression, etc. Then immunological disorder, because they have a lower immunity. Then income security is also hampered, because after retirement, if they are in the formal sector or in the government company, only they are getting pension after that. Otherwise, the person who has worked for 30 to 35 years in informal sector, they are not getting even pension, they don't have any retirement plan. That's the problem. Emerging issue. There are two emerging issues, that is the ruralization of elderly and feminization of elderly. It means that most of the elderly are living in rural areas and most of the elderly consist of women. तो अगर पति मर गया तो भारत का जो स्ट्रक्चर है सोसाइटी का, उसमें ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम विमेन को होगा. एटलीस्ट पति देखता तो है. नाउ vulnerability, that is abuse, that is theft, that is murder. This is the vulnerability. Isolation, because of the migration, because of the generation gap, they are feeling the problem of isolation. These are the challenges. So what can be done? Now, what we can do, that is wellness through active aging. Wellness through active aging depends upon three pillars, that is participation, health, and security. These are the three pillars where one can focus upon for their wellness. Participation, that we can connect orphans with the old age homes, and there is one app, that is Mat3 app, which is doing this. Then for health, we can follow Mammalpuram model, where the community is making a personalized visit to the houses of elderly, asking for their health, providing them health services at their home only. Then we should focus upon their security also. Police stations near where the elderly are living, police needs to be very active and very proactive in ensuring security to them. Then enhancing the relevance of policies and programs. We will have to fix the accountability of the officers in case the elderly is not getting their due. At the same time, we will have to increase awareness among the elderly. Then we will have to focus upon the idea of retirement plan. अभी के समय रिटायरमेंट प्लान ही नहीं होता है लोगों के पास. लोग क्या बोलते हैं, अपना बच्चा देख लेगा. अरे बच्चा गया अपना बच्चा देखने, तुम्हें कौन देख रहा है. So basically there should be a retirement plan. Then village development. We should provide all the urban amenities in the rural areas in the terms of health, in the terms of better technology, in the terms of better, you can say, better roads, better transportation, so that it will automatically help the elderly for living a good life, for living a enjoyable life. And whenever I say enjoyable life, how I can forget to mention about the best model of Japan. So in Japan, the process of Ikagai, that is, there is a purpose in the life, and the elderly are involved in local crafts making, elderly are involving themselves, participating themselves, so that it gives them joy and it will help them in leading a joyful life. Then if you will see in Singapore, the focus is upon giving them a new learning courses again and again. For example, after 60 years, you can do something, you can do some programs, some certificate programs, completion of the certificate program, then go for the next certificate program. So basically, a continuous learning process is going on in Singapore, which is the best model. So basically, these are the things which you can mention in your answer. You can enrich your answer by giving the best model and all. That's all about the problem of aging. And whenever you are writing any essay on elderly, then you can give the concept of elderly and aging. In GS2 or in GS1, you cannot give this concept of elderly and aging, the philosophical idea, but yes, you can start your answer from data itself. So that's all about the aging. Thanks to all of you.